Lounge 275. When will it end? God only knows. Marcus is here. Stacking will come. I am here as well. Football was played today. It looked like both games were fantastic. Was the second game better than the first, or what's your thoughts? I didn't see the first one.
What's that? You didn't see the first one? Second one.
I saw the second half of this game.
Second game was good. Second game was better than the first game. They were both good. Second game was better. First game will probably be the one that we'll talk. Well, I mean, I feel like there's probably potential rule changes out of both games because you're seeing some scuttlebutt on Twitter now that Mahomes should have had a chance to match or something. I tend to agree, but the pass interference in the first game was an abomination, but I loved it. So,
what was this? This was a what was this situation here? Late in the game, fairly close to the end zone.
It was, yeah. It was.
Saints have it.
Saints had it, and they basically had a chance to
win.
You know, they're throwing it on third down. If they convert the first down, they basically can run out the clock, kick a field goal, and win the game. And they don't. There's a pass interference, obvious pass interference missed. They have to settle for field goal. Goff marches them down, gets the field goal to tie. Like similarly there, the Saints had the ball first, didn't do anything with it, and the Rams came down and had the interception. Yeah, Rams had the interception and got the field goal to win.
Zuerlein looked like he had a big fucking kick. He had a one into force overtime, and then he had a 57-yarder.
Yeah, and it would have been good from about 60, 70 yards. So it was he banged it, and it was right down the middle. So Greg the leg, right there. That's why you got him. Drafting a kicker, it worked out for the Rams. Didn't work out.
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it in fantasy or real life. But
it wasn't a first-round pick, so there's that.
No, don't do that for Christ's sake. But worked out for them. I mean, that pass interference call, it
was a bad call. I don't understand how you miss it. I don't know how you miss it, but they did.
Out there. One of them. That's bad. I'm never going to blame a ref.
There's like 7 or 8. I mean, in the NFL, there's like 7 or 8 refs.
I'm never going to blame the game on the ref because there's a lot of plays that happen.
I mean, the thing I would say is that you literally can blame that. If they call it there, they take 3 knees, they kick the field goal, and the game's literally over. So
you like your chances.
The line can clearly be drawn from that play to a victory.
So Saints lose by 3, which is good. Patriots win.
Saints losing. It couldn't have happened to a better team. Couldn't have happened to a better fan base.
Was there a situation where they were passing when they should have ran the clock out?
So on first down in that series, Breeze threw a slant to Michael Thomas. It was low. He dropped it. Wasn't a good pass. And that was a situation where everybody thought, well, you at least run it and then leave your options open because the Rams only had 2 timeouts and they came out of that situation only having to use 1. So they still had a timeout for the last drive. So, yeah, it was not great play calling to begin with. And they ran it on second. Rams took a timeout. And the third down was the pass interference, incomplete pass.
What, Saints were up 13-0?
They were.
So
there's a lot of you can certainly look at that and say they have their chances to put the game away.
So Rams make it. Super Bowl favorite is out. This New England game, I saw it at 17-7. New England was ahead. And this was a good little fourth quarter here. This was good back and forth. Both teams putting up touchdowns. If Michael Jordan was a football player, it'd be Tom Brady. Because, Peyton Manning was probably better. But Tom Brady, boys, your life is on the line. I don't think you would want anybody else because he's the best. I mean, this run's the best of everything I've ever seen. He's the best I've ever seen.
These last 3 years to me have really driven it home. I mean, he's been just incredible.
40 years old, 42.
41 now. Yeah, and he just a complete mishmash of receivers and different guys. I mean, Gronk's been the main consistent guy lately. Edelman
He's been bad this year. He's been hurt. He's been bad.
Yeah, He has not been good this year. And I mean, just
if you got Patterson out there running routes, you're fucked. You're fucked.
I mean, it looks like Brady has some of that Kirk Cousins in him, where he just like, I trust this guy implicitly. I'll throw it to Cordell Patterson, even though I really shouldn't. He's the guy that's open. I'll throw it to him, and that's his Treadwell. Yeah. So I don't know why he's doing that, but it hasn't been burned by it yet, I guess. So I fully expect. We're just going to skip to the chase for me. I fully expect the Patriots to be the favorite. I don't know if they are right now.
I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pick 'em.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it'll be a very small margin, and I fully expect the Patriots to win. So
you do?
Yeah, I do. I just, the fact that they've gotten this far tells me everything I need to know. Their defense, at least early in the game, played about as well as I thought they could, better than I thought they could, and I don't know. Something bugs me about the Rams right now. I don't know what it is.
The coach or who? Anyway.
No, it was kind of like Gurley didn't do anything today.
They just didn't play well, and they still won, or what?
I didn't think they played as well as they could.
Back their way into a Super Bowl.
They didn't. I mean, Jared Goff did what he needed to do to win the game. Amon, not.
Yeah, I mean, what is that? What the fuck is that?
Not a top 15 quarterback. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know. Their defensive back core has kind of been shredded all year, even though they've got some names. So we'll see. I just think I'm gonna all these years of picking against Brady, probably not a great thing. And I feel as lukewarm about an NFC team in the Super Bowl as I have in a while. So I'll just pick the Patriots. Why go against it? And then if the Rams win, I won't be too upset. So
I usually root for New England. I think the only Super Bowl where maybe considered not would be Carolina. But every other Super Bowl, I wanted New England to win, more based on who they're playing. And this will be no different.
Honestly, the way Brady and the Patriots played today is how I thought the end of the Eagles Super Bowl last year was going to go. Just answering them drive for drive. And they just really didn't do that. I mean, they had a couple of those in that game last year, but when it came down to it, strip sack, and that was it. So,
and it was a Hail Mary at the end. They did get the ball, didn't they? Because it's horrendous.
At the very, very end. Very, very end.
And they had that Hail Mary that damn near. They almost hit that Hail Mary.
It was 38-33. They had a strip sack. Eagles got a field goal, and then they had to hold on.
Horrendous play calling, I thought, by Peterson for time management and such.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, where they gave the ball back.
Well, I think teams, and we saw it today with the Saints. I mean, they're so afraid of giving the team back the ball, like Brady in that situation. That we got to get a first down. We got to get them to burn through their timeouts. It's like sometimes you got to get them to burn the clock. I mean, you can't just throw it and have incomplete passes because that doesn't work either.
Both teams.
They brought back Berman and Tom Jackson.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's what everybody loves. So.
Teams scored. They didn't take a long time to score once they got down there. So I don't know if they let them score. It looked like they scored pretty easily. Chiefs and Patriots both scored multiple touchdowns last couple minutes, running plays. Just let them score fairly easily. So
yeah, it seemed like that was both teams. It seemed like there was occasions where both teams let the other score. Not sure nobody's going to admit to it, but yeah.
From what not overly impressed with Mr. Mahomes. 50% accuracy, 3 touchdowns, no interception, 300 yards. But I don't know, just a lot of throws were not even close. I mean, how did he perform here on the big stage? Brady,
he got better as the game went on for sure. I think in the first half he had there was one occasion where he took like a 15-yard sack that knocked him out of field goal range. That was not good. He missed some throws. I mean, the first half, to be honest, I probably could have taken a nap. It was not that entertaining. But
Chiefs had 47 plays. New England had 94.
Wow.
Large difference. Yards.
They got the highlights on here. I mean, the Patriots were up 7-0. They throw a pick in the end zone. It could have been 14-0 right off the bat. And I think the Chiefs were lucky to have it be as close as it was for a while early on.
New England had the ball. I mean, Kansas City had the ball for 20 minutes. If you're scripting how to beat a team that's got a good offense like Kansas City, you hang on to the ball for 45 minutes. You give them the ball for 20.
2 straight weeks they've done that. Big, huge, long drives right off the bat. First week or first part of the game. March right down the field, score, make a couple stops on defense. Yeah, they've been impressive in that regard.
Stack, and is the household better than last week?
No.
Okay.
Kelsey's sick. Noah's sick. He's got double ear infection.
Are you better at least?
Well, don't put it through my computer.
Oh, fuck. Now we got lost of sound. The mystery of how we lose fucking Stack and sound fucking baffles my ass.
It's great.
So, it does, yes. I can't hear him. So the whole family's got AIDS, so that's no good. Oh, I was going to ask him. I guess I'll ask you.
Yeah, whatever. I'm here. Whatever. Ask me.
I'll ask him. Like you know how tough this is to win these games, but fuck, it's been going on for 16 years now. And
I mean,
without fail,
they've made this game what, 8 times now, 9 times?
Eight times in a row. Brady has literally had a season's worth of games in the AFC Championship game. He is 9-4.
Yeah.
He's played 13 times in the championship game.
9 Super Bowl appearances. 9.
He's been to the fucking game 9 times. He's had a chance to win or lose every one. You like the Patriots. I also think the Patriots are going to win. I guarantee you it'll be a great game. I guarantee it's going to come down to 3 points because every fucking game they've ever fucking played has been a close game at the end. That's just the way it's got to be.
And what, they've lost 3 of them?
Yeah.
So 2 to the Giants, 1 to the Eagles. So.
And this, last time I checked, Los Angeles Rams not in the NFC East.
Right.
I think they'll be fine. They should have lost.
Like we always say, you're 1 play away from losing to the Seahawks. You're 1 or 2 plays away from losing to the Falcons. I mean, that's pretty incredible, and that helped shape the worldview we've had of him as well. So his championships, as we say, they matter.
He's 5-3, could be 3-5,
very
easily, right there. So, Stack, are we back? Are we better than ever? Hello? There we go. We're back, folks.
I was just saying that I hacked up a loogie today that was about the size of a quarter.
Was it yellow in color?
No, it was green. It was like a booger.
So you're not feeling any better either?
No, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better than last week. And I'm feeling better than Kelsey and Noah. So that's a consolation.
You're questionable, but you're going to play.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Good.
The Edelman no touch on the punt. That feels like it happened about 2 hours ago.
This fucking end of this game feel like it lasts like an hour and a half. This fourth and quarter overtime. Is
it not great though to see Chris Berman and Tom Jackson doing NFL prime time?
I don't think Keyshawn Johnson is necessary, but that's fine.
Stack, and who's the MVP of this AFC title game? There's only one right answer. Marcus could guess it, I bet.
Yep.
Who's the MVP of this game?
Well, if I say Julian Edelman, you'll probably disagree, so I will say Tom Brady.
He wasn't in the game. He wasn't in the game, folks. Tony Romo.
He's the best of all time. He is the best of all time. Nobody has been better at what he does than Tony Romo.
Even though some of the things he says is very common sense, like right before a snap, like, oh, I wonder if this is a false start. Maybe it's offsides. Let's see. I don't know. You're right. He is by far the best at what he does, and it's not even close.
Well, continually calling like what the Patriots would do on 4th down, calling
going to be a run to the right,
calling the passes to Edelman in overtime.
The Gronk.
Watch the safety. Watch the safety. He's going to come down. When he comes down, they're going to throw to Gronkowski. That's what happened.
The play with when Gronk made the catch along the sideline with Eric Berry draping all over him.
That was that. Yep. It's incredible. He won't make the Hall of Fame as a player. He was very close. Probably should at least went to one NFC title game. I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame. I think he's making the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster.
I don't think this will last forever, because I think over the course of 15 years, he's not going to be as current with the current coaches, the current players. But until then, I think he's going to do quite well. Like
I think he's this. I've seen it be said.
Well, everyone's putting Pat Mahomes in the Hall of Fame after this year, so maybe we could already just put Tony Romo in the broadcaster Hall of Fame.
Pro Football Hall of Fame. I would say he's this generation's John Madden. The enthusiasm is one thing. He's very excited. All these other guys not excited. And you combine that with something that, again, we talked about this last year. Nobody's ever been able to do what he's done. Why is this? Why has nobody been able to do? Jason Witten, I guess, has been a disaster. And you bring these guys straight from the field, and just the tape. It's just unbelievable for him to have the confidence to say what he says. It's one thing this is what I think is going to happen, and then he says it, and then it happens more times than not.
I think that's part of it. I don't think they want to make a mistake. At the same time, I think a lot of times they hire a name, and I mean they certainly hired Tony Romo with a name, but they knew clearly that he had the potential to be this kind of guy, and then they let him go do it, which is cool.
And then ESPN was like, yeah, we're going to go back down to that Dallas well and get some guy who's been banged in the head for 18 years, and he'll be just as good. Nope.
Yeah, like I said earlier this year, if he played tight end for the Houston Texans or the Indianapolis Colts, he wouldn't be on Monday Night Football. So.
Yep. And I believe Jim Nantz called Tony Romo Nostradamus or something like that today, so that was fantastic.
I think he should, saw it said, he should call baseball with Joe Buck. He should call all the sports.
Let's have him call the Final Four with Jim Nantz and Bill Raftery.
I would like it.
Grant Hill out of there.
And Romo finally makes the Super Bowl. So I thought he was tremendous in this game, as he usually is. Kansas City, again, they just fall short again. It wasn't like it was a heartbreak or anything. They made plays. Marcus mentioned this, stacking. I mean, people seem to think overtime should be changed, or at least every team gets possession. Is that something? I'm sure you would like to see that.
You wonder if it's headed that way after this weekend. There will be significant rule changes, but that's because of the NFC Championship game, which I don't know if you guys have already talked about. I assume you have.
What are the pass interference was bad? What's the rule changes?
Well, yeah, it would just be to, challenge, like if it's a penalty or not, or like go to a college style centralized replay, which I guess doesn't really bear any significance in terms of the non-pass interference call, but something's going to change with this. I mean, because this is
like the roughing the passer on Brady late, where he didn't really get him in the helmet. I mean, that's something that you can obviously look at and see. He didn't hit him nearly as hard as they thought.
If Chiefs fans are going to get in, that was the only bad call that I could see at least in the second half.
I mean, there were a lot of calls and a lot of reviews. They all went correctly, I guess, New England's way. The Edelman thing was good. The catches, they called the catches correctly. So a lot of plays could have went either way, but I think they did get them correctly called.
What I would do is I would add another challenge for each coach. You can have 3 challenges, and you basically can review whatever you want. I mean, to a certain extent, some of these calls are still going to be judgment calls, maybe things that you can't change. But let the refs tell you that that's not what it's going to be. But I think, like you said, these personal fouls, if you want to review a helmet-to-helmet hit, go for it. You just know you're probably going to lose that challenge at some point. The pass interference, you can review it. I don't know if you want to review holding on every play either, but anything you think can be reviewed, or anything that you think we're missing now, you get another challenge. But I don't support. I guess I like the college review system. I think it's why we have 4-hour games in college, and I think the NFL wants to keep their 3-hour games if possible. So,
but they also want their integrity, and that's something that they don't have after tonight.
Well, throw the flag on what's his face hitting the Saints receiver, and you've got at least a little more integrity than you got right now. So,
may I? If you don't want to go to the college centralized, replay system, that's fine. But maybe you give
review and for what it's worth, if I know what you mean by centralized, but review is already centralized, right?
Right.
You've got somebody who's watching to make sure that the call in Oakland is the same as the call in Tampa Bay, whatever. But at the same time, I don't know. That's just kind of the way I view it.
Or if you changed it to the college system, then give NFL coaches 2 challenges that they could challenge on penalties throughout the game.
Yeah, that would maybe be better. I would also say that I'm generally not a huge fan of expanding replay because I think, and Krins kind of can maybe expand on this, but we reach a certain point where you can't differentiate everything. I mean, there's some of these calls that you're not going to get right live, and there's some calls you're not even going to get right looking at the replays. And I think as long as people can somewhat understand that that's going to be the case and that we can't use replay to solve everything, I think we'll be better off.
The Edelman catch, the Edelman punt, the Brady pass interference, or the roughing the passer, stacking.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all calls that you literally cannot see. You just have to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I liken this, as I said, to the Mookie Betts catch in Houston. Joe West made that call. Like, you literally, it is impossible to tell what happened there.
Yep.
Did the fan reach over? You are too far away, and we're talking, about these plays. Did it look like it was a catch? Yes. Was it a catch? Yes. Did they call it correctly on the field? Yes. But you're just going based on what you think you see at the time. It's, kind of just a guess.
Mm-hmm.
There was the big, the interception almost would have ended this game here. But they were offsides.
Yep.
That was another huge play that maybe people just gonna forget about. And at the time, I think people thought there was a penalty on New England. Mm-hmm. That was the ball game. So
right.
Well, and I would also say that the World Series is a great example. There's probably 50 cameras in the stadium. Tonight there's as many cameras as you can dream of. There'll be 100 cameras at the Super Bowl. I mean, we're like you said, if we can't get it based on that, then you can't get it. That's just the way it is. We're not going to have every square inch of the stadium covered with these things. Hopefully not.
It does make you feel good, Stack. I know that the Saints lost, and they lost the way they lost. It makes you feel good.
Oh, it does. It does. I don't give a shit that they think they got screwed, even though they did.
I would prefer that they lose getting screwed rather than just losing straight up. I would prefer they lose in a controversial way.
Yep, get fucked, just like what you did to the Vikings back 9 years ago. Was
it Ben Lieber?
Yep.
Ben Lieber pass interference, or was it?
And they replayed that the other day, and a lot of people on Twitter going, that's probably not pass interference in 2000.
Like we always talk about like 70s and 80s and all of these hits, but that game with Favre seems like it was, back in 1975 with the hits they were laying on him.
Every one of those hits would be a penalty today.
Yeah.
Right.
No less than a half dozen. Just amazing.
Even during that game, there should have been a few hits, maybe not all of them called, but certainly,
back then.
Certainly at least 2 or 3 should have been called. So, you know what? Fuck you, Saints. You know what? Sean Payton can do the skull chant and everything on Super Bowl Sunday.
Who dat? Who dat? Is that what they do down there?
Yeah, it is. Who dat going to be playing in the Super Bowl?
Who dat? Having the 30th pick in the draft? Who that?
Green Bay Packers.
That's right.
The other thing that I liked was that for a minute there with the game tied and the Rams driving, it looked like the Rams were going to have, the chance to replicate history, really. 12 men in the huddle, Goff throws across his body, gets picked, game goes to overtime, they lose the toss, never touch the ball.
Then you remembered.
Weird defensive pass interference, 40-yard field goal. None of that happened, so good job for the Rams by avoiding all of that. They had the suspect call, so nice job.
All of these situations in these games, Kansas City kicker making the kick to force overtime, Vikings missed that. All of these calls, Stacking would have gone against them. Just the field goals would have
I think Matt Zimmer said it best earlier today on Twitter, that he said, "I always love this day, except when the Vikings are playing." So I think that aptly describes conference championship game in all of its glory.
First time there's ever been 2 overtime games, and this appeared to be as great as it could have been.
Yeah, it was weird watching the NFC title game today and not having this big pit in my stomach because the Vikings are down, 28-7 or whatever the score was last year, 24-7.
I mean, really, the Saints, since that game against the Eagles, have not been the same team. Offensively, something happened, and they just weren't themselves. And
Are you talking about last week?
No,
48-7, they beat the Saints.
Gotcha.
In the regular season.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, ever since that game, their offense was just out of sync. So I certainly thought they were going to win today, just in large part because I didn't know what the Rams offense was going to be like. No Todd Gurley, and they did have Cooper Kupp, because he's out with a torn ACL. They had him in the first meeting, and that was a big factor. But honestly, the Saints have some issues that they're going to have to work out this offseason. I don't know if they have the cap space to work it out, and they don't have any draft picks. So this might be as good. This might be as good as the Saints can get.
Stacking, how would you grade the Rams offense right now heading into the Super Bowl? What's your read on them? Because I felt like they didn't play nearly close to whatever their best game would be today, and they still won, so that's good. But you had the weird thing with Gurley. Goff made the plays at the end. The receiving core seems a little weird right now. So
I love that they get that Josh Reynolds involved on some end arounds and get some wide receiver screens. Robert Woods is tremendous. I'd like to see them get Brandon Cooks more involved. I think they certainly didn't play their best game today, but they kind of like the Patriots and all the offensive weapons that they have. They might not blow you away. The Rams have a few more better guys at those positions. Like I'd say Brandon Cooks, probably the best wide receiver between the two teams. Todd Gurley, the best running back between the two teams. But I think they're very similar how they get different guys involved, and they can hit you with so many different ways with so many different guys that for the Rams, they didn't have to be on their A game today. And I think that's what's going to make the Super Bowl really intriguing, is that the Patriots can't plan to just stop one guy or two. There's not a specific game plan that you can go on with, because Sean McVay will change things up kind of like Bill Belichick or Josh McDaniels does. So it's going to be a very interesting cat and mouse game. But to answer your question full, I didn't think they were great today, but I mean, with all those weapons, everyone stepped up that needed to.
Game's basically a pick on 1 point here, 1 point there. Patriots, Rams. Over-under is 58.
We have Sony Michel against Todd Gurley in the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I like that. Also, Todd
Nick
Gurley.
Chubb will be there next year.
What's that?
Nick Chubb will be there next year.
Chubb. We also had Todd Gurley on his Instagram with a Photoshop of him and Bill Vinovich swapping uniforms.
That's a good.
That was pretty funny. But then we had Clunkhead Michael Lombardi, the former Browns GM, asked, "Is this real?" Which it wasn't.
No.
I also like how that Courtney Roby, the Rams cornerback that committed the pass interference penalty.
Who is she?
I don't know. But I like how he said after the game, "Oh yeah, that was a pass interference penalty. The football gods were smiling." Like he's not even hiding it. He knows everything.
I don't know one other person who doesn't think it wasn't.
Yeah,
There's nobody arguing. Oh, that wasn't. It was there before the ball. He hit him.
But you know how sometimes guys will be like, "No, I got there. It was fine." Like he's like, "Nope, I'm just gonna own it." Said, "Nope, that was definitely pass interference." And He didn't even really need to. I know he says he was beat, but I don't think that was going to be a. I don't know. I thought he maybe made a little bit of a bad play on the ball, but he could have made a pick. He could have gotten a pick 6 there.
I heard the best NFL play-by-play guy on the radio for a couple minutes.
Yes.
Calling this Saints game, Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, he was good.
And he was at the end there, and it's like, everybody's on their feet. Nobody's sitting down. You can feel the noise. You can feel it.
What he said earlier in the game that it was like being in a Van Halen concert.
Van Halen, is that right? Ooh, we got the Marcus Burrs again.
What's that?
It sounded like a guitar riff.
Well, I had the Texas is back effect going and trying to reduce that a little bit. Somebody compared that the shaking in the press box to something out of Jurassic Park because people had their water bottles and they were shaking all over the place. So
have you ever
the goddamn whistling? Be glad you didn't watch it on TV. The whistling, my God.
The vuvuzelas. They had the vuvuzelas out.
It was terrible.
I'm surprised that Dan Beck's friend was there at the game. That's very surprising to me.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, a shot across the bow. Still 6 weeks.
Pat Myros.
6 weeks before Summit League. I thought offensive line for New England was great. Chiefs had most sacks of anybody all year, and they didn't get them once. Give some credit to the old man for that. And those, the blocking, we know how important the blocking can be.
The Chiefs' defense on third down was just horrendous. Who do you think Tom Brady's going to look for on 3rd and 10? He's going to look for Julian Edelman, you dumb shits. I mean, and they were saying on ESPN right after the game, they could tell what the Chiefs were doing defensively. So Bob Sutton had no creativity, and I don't know. It's rather stunning to me how bad the Chiefs' defense on third down was. What did they say? Tom Brady went 13 of 19. I mean, that's insane.
We ran down the number of plays. They almost had 100 plays. The Chiefs had 47. Chiefs had the ball for 20 minutes.
They had 32 yards in the first half. I mean, that's
running the ball. Chiefs had 10 rushes. New England had 40 rushes. They were, you want to keep the offense off the field, and that's what they did. The Rams score here, with 6 minutes to go, take a touchdown lead. No, this guy's short. Who end up kicking a field goal here. 4th and goal. They kicked the field goal. Really?
Yeah, this was controversial.
I agreed with the play, though.
Wow.
I agree with the call.
Okay, 2 minutes to go here. You get it down. 2 minutes to go. You got the ball.
Throw to Ted Ginn Jr. right there.
Great kick returner. Like this is the game right here.
This is it.
What the fuck are you doing passing the ball? That's obscene. That's Mike McCarthy shit right there. And it's not even like they're going for the end zone, some slant to the middle. I mean, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That should have been minimum 2. That should have been minimum 2 consecutive run plays. Boy. I mean, that's a terrible pass interference call, but
I mean, he's not beat.
It's a bad call, but Sean Payton, boy, hopefully somebody asked him what the fuck he was doing.
Well, I can't remember, but this happened last year, right, with the Vikings?
Well, this happened earlier this year within that Packers game, where Packers had won. They won the game. Just run the ball, and you leave the Vikings.
No, I'm talking about Sean Payton and the Saints.
I don't know.
Times where he's done this, it's been weird.
Well, yeah, because against the Vikings, they had a chance to effectively get a first down. I think they got stopped. They had some bad play calling there at the end, in which they settled for the field goal to give them the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was some questionable play calling there last year as well.
Boy, that's tough.
And people then are calling for controversy, the NFL's rigged and everything. I don't know. Do you think the NFL really wanted the Rams in the Super Bowl?
Of all the matchups, you couldn't go wrong with any of them.
Right.
Well, this would be the least desirable, I guess. I think Chiefs Rams, you want that game of the year.
Yep.
Saints, I guess you'd want that. Saints, Patriots, you'd want that. Two old fuckers. Rams, Patriots, there's really no storyline. It's young coach, old coach.
Well, they said I think it'll be 17 years ago to the day
Yeah.
they'll have met in the Super Bowl. So
I mean, this fucking kick stacking. I mean, when they say it's good from 70, no shit, that would have been good.
They're not joking. They are not joking.
Wow, that was 2/3 up the goalpost.
The wrong team was covering this game because we would have the SNF kicks from NBC on that one if NBC was doing the game.
and they didn't even have their special teams ace Jay Feely on, and he was in Kansas City. So
what a shame.
How's it down there? It's not windy? Thank you. Who do you like, Stacken?
For enlightening us.
You like the Patriots?
it's hard not to. I mean, how do you not pick them? I'm sure they'll find a way. It'll suck because we're tired of this fucking team.
At this point, I'm like, just keep it coming because this is extraordinary.
It is. I mean,
like you see the Saints, a capable ball club, and what happened to them last year is great. What happened to them this year is fantastic. And New England every year, they are there every year.
Yep. I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm if they win or when they win, I'm not going to be, sad. Do I hope they win? No, but you have to just look back or look at them and just say what a remarkable team from cheating early on to the dynasty that they've become. It's something else. I tell you what.
Like with your life on the line, Tom Brady's the guy.
Yep.
He's going to get it done.
Also, this is the first season where baseball and football, same teams in the championship round.
Boston, LA.
Same cities.
First time ever.
Oh, geez,
it wasn't Falcons, Vikings? Not Falcons, Vikings.
No.
Has it ever been? I assume it's been close before, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a research project for tomorrow.
Are we just comparing Major League Baseball and the NFL, or can we look at the NBA and NHL as well?
If you would like to.
This guy's name is Nickel. Who the fuck?
With 2 L's.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Roby Coleman.
A disgrace to grammar and spelling.
So a good second, we said, bad playoffs. Great to end here and see if the Super Bowl.
Today made up for it all so far. Today made it up for it all.
And New England in the Super Bowl, and they have yet to play a non-close game. I did not like their Giants Super Bowls at all, but a close game. Expected.
If they win, does Tom Brady retire?
Yeah.
Because I think
hasn't he said he wants to play a couple more years? I think you got to be done, don't you?
Well, I think this is Gronk's last game, regardless, win or lose, right?
I don't think they're ready. They don't have their quarterback. They're not in a good spot now. I'm sure they would appreciate a couple more years to get that quarterback ready to go because they don't have them right now. I'm sure they'll fucking luck into somebody.
Texas is back.
In a hard and heavy way.
I got who their quarterback is, Kyler Murray.
Sign me up. Oof. Sign me up. Good by me. Football, what's going on? Summer League looks to be poop, sack, and nothing has changed for quite some time.
Yes, there has. Fort Wayne's lost 2 games.
Badly.
Make it more poop. So
they lost to Western Illinois of all teams. My God.
You said about the upsets, and I was like, I don't. What is an upset? If SDSU doesn't get beat, I don't know if you can call anything an upset.
No, I'm sure you can't. But if you're
garbage, these are garbage.
I'm just saying, if you want to look at the seeding, I mean, that's what it's going to be. right now it's playing out really well for the Jacks, because you can avoid Omaha or Fort Wayne until the championship round, because right now they're 2-3. Everything's going to change, but I mean, does Oral Roberts scare you? Hell no. No one scares. No one scares me.
This is VFW.
Yeah, the same PFW that just lost by 23 on the road at Western Illinois. Yep.
Patriots lost to what? The Titans? Jacksonville? Maybe a couple other.
The Lions.
Who? The Lions. The Lions kicked their ass, I seem to remember. Pillar to fucking post. They raped them. Summit League is bad. Marcus, I tweeted out some stats for the women. I think it's going to be hard for both of them not to make it at this point. I think things will change, but I think if they both don't get in, this is a huge robbery at this point.
Let's see where we're at in March.
It's looking pretty good. The bubble does not seem to be strong on either men or the women. Seems like a weak bubble.
CBS released a new bracketology this morning.
Fuck me.
Guess who they had? Did you see this?
Omaha? I don't know.
No, SDSU.
Oakland?
No, what? No.
They haven't played Nevada.
Haven't played Duke. 1 versus 16.
Sign me up, folks. Sign me up. As a 1-6, yes.
How about Michigan and Virginia going down today? Fantastic. Or yesterday. Fantastic.
Virginia.
I'm buying into your Virginia hype, though. I am. But this feels like a different team. I can't guarantee. I can't say I'm gonna pick them for Final Four, but I think they'll be going a long ways this year.
Just looking at these brackets.
Who are you looking at? ESPN or CBS?
Just the brackets in my mind.
Oh, okay.
Like, if Tennessee's going to be a 1, if Duke's going to be a 1, if Gonzaga gets a 1, if Michigan gets a 1.
I'm a believer in Tennessee. Marcus, are you believers in Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams?
Always. You weren't 3 weeks ago when we tried to talk about this.
I know.
All right.
I'm on with you. I'm on the wagon with you.
Rocket is garbage. So, anything else, folks, before we wrap it up?
This audio is terrible.
It's not good. It's choking me.
Timberwolves, they won tonight.
Wiggins, bad. Towns, good. Rose, good.
It seems
Goodbye, Tibbs, the oppressor. Die.
It seems, Marcus, that Jim Butler gone equals Tony Towns good.
Who would have thought?
Stunting the growth of Tony Towns. You run Butler out of town, and it's all look who's back. Fucking 40 points and 25 rebound guy that was there 2 years ago.
Turns out he was bad to have on the team.
There we go. Health for the Stackett household. Leinenkugel for the Leinenkugels household.
Let's try not to have this show in a mine next time.
You don't want it.
Yeah.
How dare you for the coal miners?
It's not good. For folks, it was a show. We'll see you next week.